In any conversation, whether it's with a colleague, a client, or even a friend, there's very often a hidden game being played. It's a game of influence, and trust me, some people are absolute masters at it. Today, we're not going to learn how to play that game against others. No, we're learning the rules so we can see when it's being played on us, and more importantly, how to defend our ground. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll pull back the curtain on this whole unseen game of influence. Then, we're diving into the sneaky conversational traps people lay and the illusion of rapport they build just to lower your guard. After we expose some seriously high-pressure ploys, we'll wrap it all up by building your personal defensive playbook so you always stay in control. So what even is this unseen game? Look, this isn't about some movie villain stuff. These are real, psychological tools used every single day by top negotiators and influencers to steer outcomes their way. Understanding their playbook? Well, that's step one to creating your own defense. Has this ever happened to you? You walk away from a chat and you just feel off, kind of confused, maybe drained, or you're suddenly locked into a commitment you don't even remember making? Yeah, that feeling, it is not an accident. It's usually the result of a very deliberate psychological play. Okay, let's be perfectly clear. We are not here to weaponize your communication. Think of this knowledge like a kitchen knife. It can be used to prepare a meal or it can be used to cause harm. The whole point of this is to hand you that tool, not as a weapon, but as a shield. All right, let's get into the first set of tools from their kit, conversational traps. These are these subtle moves used in totally normal chats to quietly take control of the narrative and, you guessed it, steer you exactly where they want you to go. Okay, so our brains are basically hardwired to hate awkward silences. We panic, we rush to fill the void, and we often end up giving away way more than we should. A skilled manipulator knows this. They'll ask a question, you'll give your answer, and then they'll just look at you. They'll hold a steady gaze and say nothing. Uncomfortable, right? That feeling of pressure building up inside you, that is the weapon. It makes you want to justify what you just said, to offer a concession, to say anything to make the silence stop. And they did it all without saying a single word. So, how do you fight back? Simple. You break the spell. You can acknowledge their pause by saying something like, "I see you're taking a moment to think that over." Or you can completely turn the tables and ask a question, like, "Does that fully answer your question?" This forces them to talk again, and it shatters their power dynamic. Or, if you have to, just lean back and get comfortable in that silence yourself. Here's another classic, the illusion of choice. This move is so clever because it completely bypasses the yes or no decision. It makes you feel like you're in control because, hey, you get to choose, right? But what you don't realize is both options lead right where they want you to go. Just think about it for a second. Asking, "Can we meet?" gives you an easy out. You can just say no. But asking, "So is Thursday or Friday better for you?" totally reframes the situation. Your brain literally stops debating if you'll meet and immediately starts working on when you'll meet. It's a subtle shift, but it's incredibly powerful. And now that you know it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Okay, this next one is a little twisted, I'll admit, but it taps into a really powerful human instinct. Our urge to correct someone is often way stronger than our urge to just be helpful. Cunningham's law basically says if you want information, don't ask for it. Instead, confidently state the wrong information. Right? Imagine trying to find out how much someone paid for a car. If you ask directly, you might get a vague answer. But if you confidently say, "Wow, you paid 25 lakhs for that, right?" Their instinct to correct you just kicks in. "Are you crazy? I got it for only 15. And just like that, boom, you have the information. Now, the next set of tactics, these are a bit more insidious. They're not about trapping you with logic. No, they're about creating a fake sense of connection. This illusion of rapport that's designed to make you just lower your guard. You see mirroring used everywhere, from car sales floors all the way to FBI hostage negotiations. I'm serious. If someone leans forward, the negotiator subtly leans forward too. If they use a specific word, like frustrated, the negotiator reflects that same word back. This creates this powerful subconscious feeling of, wow, this person gets me. I can trust them. This next one feels totally backward. I mean, you'd think doing someone a favor makes you like them more, right? But the Ben Franklin effect shows the opposite is true. When you ask someone for a small favor, their brain has this tiny conflict. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance. To solve that conflict, their mind just concludes, well, I wouldn't have helped them if I didn't like them. And so they actually end up liking you more. It's wild. Okay, now we're moving into the high-pressure zone. These are the kinds of tactics you'll see in really intense negotiations, where the whole goal is to corner you into saying yes by messing with your perception of what's being asked. So pay close attention to this exchange. Someone comes to you with this huge, almost ridiculous request for $10,000. You, of course, say no. Then they immediately follow up with a much smaller, way more reasonable request for $1,000. So what do you think is going on here? What is this technique called? Just take a second to think about it. It's a classic negotiation move. It's called the door-in-the-face technique, and it works for two main reasons. First, there's the contrast principle. Compared to 10 grand, 1,000 seems like a bargain. And second, it plays on your guilt. We tend to feel a little bad after rejecting someone, so we're psychologically primed to say yes to the smaller request just to get rid of that feeling. And that brings us to the most important section of all, your defense. Now that we can spot the plays, let's get you equipped with the tools to counter them and anchor yourself in reality, especially when things start to feel confusing. Gaslighting is maybe the most dangerous tactic of all because it's a direct attack on your sanity. The goal is to make you question your own memory, your own judgment. They'll say things like, you're being way too sensitive, or they'll just flat out deny something you know happened. The biggest red flag is the feeling. If you consistently leave conversations with one particular person feeling confused, anxious, and second-guessing yourself, you have to pay attention. The number one, absolute best defense against gaslighting is to refuse to play their game. Do not get dragged into an argument about feelings or memories. You anchor yourself to reality. Write things down after a meeting. Keep records. Stick to objective, verifiable facts. That anchor is what will keep you from being pulled into their vortex of confusion. You know, when you actually break it down like this, the contrast is just stark. Healthy communication is all about clarity and respecting boundaries. Manipulation, on the other hand, thrives on confusion and pressure. Learning to see which side of this line a conversation is on is your most powerful early warning system. So we've just walked through the manipulator's entire playbook, from weaponized silence all the way to gaslighting. You now have the awareness to spot these moves coming a mile away. The question is no longer about their next play, it's about yours. Now that you know the game, how are you going to defend yourself?